Welcome back to the channel. I'm Shane and this is A Handle on Things. You know, on the internet lately I've been seeing some videos showing how to make a DIY horsefly trap. And it's a fairly elaborate construction and that's been keeping some people from making one of their own. Let me show you my take on that same horsefly trap using less tools and using things you can buy down at your local hardware store. The materials list on this build couldn't be simpler. I've got a couple of 4-foot 2x4s, a couple of 4-foot 1x3s, a piece of acrylic sheet that's 28 inches by 30 inches, a utility tub that is 36 inches wide, a box of construction screws, and some spray paint. If you buy your lumber pre-cut like I did, you don't need many tools to make this either. All you're going to need is a propane torch and a screw gun. Lay one 2x4 down flat on the table. If you find a table that's less than 4 feet wide, it sure makes this easier. Lay your plexiglass on top of the 2x4. Center it as best you can, both this way and this way. Take your second 2x4 and set it right on top in the center of this 2x4 and make it flush on the ends. You're basically making a T with the plexiglass pinched between it. We're going to put some screws in holding this 2x4 down to this 2x4, just like this. Do the same thing on the other side. Then take your 2x4s with the plexiglass between them and flip it over. Grab your propane torch and we're going to heat the underside of this plexiglass right here to cause the plexiglass to fall down into a V shape. Hey, could you do us a favor? Hit that like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you a dime, but it sure helps the channel. Thanks. There's one half. Now after that cooled and it wants to stay in place, just turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. Now remember, don't overheat your plexiglass. Once it starts to sag, you're done with the heat. Now hold it in place until it cools. Now take your 1x4 and start some screws in it. This is the easy way to do this. Flip it over like that and run the screws the rest of the way in. What this piece of 1x4 does on each side is it gives the plexiglass just a little extra support so it's not as likely to break where you bent it. Do the same thing on the other side. We're almost done. We'll just run some screws through the bottom lip of this utility tub into these 2x4s, and this isn't going anywhere. But before we do that, let's pull the plexiglass off real quick and give this a coat of paint. Any old black spray paint will do. This is the stuff I'm using today. We want to paint this black because the horsefly like dark colors. We'll let that dry for a while, then we'll put it back together. Okay, so now for the rest of the story. I've got a friend who has a farm where she takes in rescue horses. And she had asked me to build one of these for her. So let's take this one out to the farm and we'll get some water and some dish soap into it and we'll get it working for her. Well, we're out here at my friend's farm. You can see that she has some horses in the background here, and in order for them to get any kind of relief from the horseflies, they've had to have blankets and blinders and every other thing. And that offers a little bit of relief from the horseflies, but it's got to be pretty miserable for them. A horsefly trap here would be just the thing. That's why we brought her one. Here's a few facts you may or may not know about horseflies. Horseflies love wet, swampy areas. So while this pond in the background is a very beautiful addition to this piece of property, the horseflies love it too. They breed there and they eat there until they get mature and old enough to attack your horses. A single horsefly bite from a horsefly that's about an inch long isn't going to draw a whole lot of blood. But if you have a swarm of horseflies that are feeding relentlessly all day long, they can take as much as a quart of blood from your horse per day. And they can also spread disease. I set the horsefly trap up on some hay bales, making sure to keep it less than 3 feet off the ground and making sure it's relatively level so we don't wind up with the water high on one side and low on the other side. Now we're going to go ahead and add in some Dawn dish soap. I found that the Dawn dish soap actually does a better job than most other dish soaps, so that's what I use. Going to be pretty generous with this. I've got about 20 gallons of water in there, so we can put a fair amount of dish soap in without causing any problems. If you've never used Dawn dish soap for pest control before, I encourage you to try it. I find that it kills the bugs very efficiently. Now when you place your horsefly trap, be sure to put it far enough on the other side of the fence that your horses can't drink out of it. Drinking a little bit of water with some Dawn dish soap in it shouldn't hurt your horses, but let's just say that it's not really conducive to solid digestion, if you know what I mean. This is not a trick or a made-for-TV moment. This trap has been here for less than 10 minutes and we're already getting our first customers. That one appears to be a deer fly, and that one's a horsefly, and there's a little black biting fly next to it already. These things are very, very effective. That's really all there is to it. We've put together a horsefly trap that is so easy to make that anyone can do it. Now this horsefly trap will sit here and kill horseflies whether you're home or not and give your horses a little bit of relief. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time when we get a handle on things.